What's up, y'all? I'm playing a little bit of catch up today. We getting everything that I read in December. Uh, I'm gonna try and bang out December and January today, so hopefully the videos come out pretty close, back to back. December was pretty light. I got like not even 10 books here, and most of them are kind of chunkier hardcovers. So I didn't get like a ton of them, but what I did read, I think was pretty good. I liked it. We're gonna start with Dead Eyes by Jerry Duggan and Michael McCrae, maybe John McCrae, colored by Mike Spicer. This book is about Dead Eyes, who's like a retired thief, heist artist. He's kind of like a local hero though. He's not like Robin Hood necessarily, but everybody's like, dang, bro, he be popping off on big ass heists. The people love it. But he is retired, and it's kind of about Dead Eyes in his life and him coming back, but not loving it. I don't want to say too much because I feel like a lot of this book is about like the character himself. I think is very likable and like charming, and you can like really relate to his situation and his motivations. I kind of bought this book on a flyer because I had just read Hitman, and I saw that John McCrae was on it again, and I like his art style. I like his stuff that he does on like Instagram and all that. So I bought it off that, but Jerry Duggan's writing is very, very good. This book is funny. It's definitely not like a comedy book, but it cracks jokes in there, and like keeps it pretty lighthearted. I really love this book. I was really impressed by it. I don't want to show too much. This is volume one. I think there's a second series that's like in single issues right now. But Dead Eyes for me, I think it's a 5 out of 5, dude. I didn't go in with super high expectations, but I don't know what else you could ask for from a story like this. I thought it was really good. Up next, we got Rock Candy Mountain by Kyle Starks, written and drawn. We love a writer artist. Uh, this is the edition that just has the whole thing in it. This is an older story, I want to say. I don't know when exactly it came out, but it's I got this because I had read uh, Fuck This Place. I don't think it's called. It's got a different title. I Hate This Place. I read that and I was like, wow, this is great. I'm in. So I've been slowly stacking up Kyle Stark's books. This one is about. What is this about? It's about a hobo who's on a mission to get like a. I forget what it's called, but it's like a big MacGuffin to like say go to the other side. It does some crazy magic shit. That's what he's going for. It's less about the thing itself, definitely more about the journey. The important thing is that he runs into this guy that gets kind of like wrapped up. This guy in blue who gets wrapped up and dragged along in this trip, and he's being chased by the actual devil. So it's kind of him going through this world that Kyle Starks creates of all of this like not underworld, but like this parallel world that's sitting right next to ours. It's like the hobo world, right? Like he never everybody he talks to is like involved in these like camps or they're in these weird fighting pits or it's part of what I think makes this book so interesting is how Kyle Starks has this world set up and how the hobo world works. It feels like a real world with like real rules, and that's like been around for a while. Obviously, Kyle Starks is very funny. I know that now he's trying to do more horror stuff and less be the comedy guy. But this book is very very funny. It's definitely like makes me think of like a '90s action comedy is like the vibe of the whole thing, and he hits it dead on. A lot of one-liners, a lot of very silly jokes, which I'm a huge fan of. A lot of it is you follow this main character. Y'all know I'm terrible at character names, so I can't remember this dude's name right now. But he's just like an absolute badass who can't lose at all times. So it's just him like creatively beating ass of everybody they run into in all these situations. But it never gets, it's fresh the whole time. It has a lot of these pages where there's like a million panels on it. I think that one of Kyle Stark's big strengths is his like the way he paces the pages and can kind of keep the rhythm up with all these like with all the dialogue and the jokes and things. I liked it. I liked Rock Candy Mountain. I don't think it's going to like change your life. You know what I mean? It's not one of those reads, but it's really fun. I don't think anyone would read this and be like, this was a waste of time. You know what I mean? I think everybody would be like, that was fun. I liked it. So for that, we'll give it a 4 out of 5. Up next, we got Local Man Book 3, kind of a thicker trade. Um, I found out that this is it. I think this is like where they're gonna stop, which made me really sad. I really liked the first two Local Man books. The whole pitch of Local Man is it's like a washed up 90s superhero from like the Image Boom. And I definitely was not reading comics around then. I'm not super familiar with like that 90s stuff that was coming out, but I still really enjoy this book. There's definitely references galore, and they don't all land for me, but like you can see it in the style and like the way these stories get told is very it's like invoking that feeling, you know, like you see just some of the drawings, dude. It's like I've seen covers that look like that, you know what I mean? There's how many of these, you know, drawings and iconic images we've seen before, and it just like locks right in to the vibe, where it's definitely like ridiculous, but also they clearly love it. You know, it's done with a lot of love. They're not like making fun of it, and I'm gonna get kicked off this thing. You gotta be careful with some of these pages, bro. This book was not my favorite of the three, but I mean, it's great. I love the main character, Jack. Jack Xaver. Uh, he's great. I think that the stuff like it's just, you know, new villain that they're running through. It's like carrying on the story, but there's got to be something wrong, so I got to go and fix it. It was fine. It was fine. It was serviceable. I actually don't want to talk about this one so much. There wasn't like a ton of stuff that I really loved in this one compared to the other two, but I still would recommend you read Local Man, the series. Just anybody. I think it's a good time. I give Local Man a 3 out of 5. Up next, we got My Dear Pierrot by Jim Bishop from Magnetic Press. You see the curved corners. It's a big hardcover. I got it off the Kickstarter. I got it, so it comes with this one in Lost Letters, and I was pretty excited. This one I was more excited about than the other one for sure. But I don't know. This book didn't like. It's cool. I get what it was going for. I think it's a little like heavy-handed with like it's like I was gonna say a metaphor. It's not even a metaphor, bro. It's about this girl who meets this like a wizard boy who's like a charming wizard boy that you'd see in like, you know, in like an animated movie or something like that. But then she goes off with him, and it's not like, you know, the magical life that she thought it would be, and instead he's kind of, you know, more of a well. I don't want to spoil it, but it's like the whole book deals with it, and it kind of sits in it, dude. So like you meet Pierrot, and it's like all cool, and the introduction's all great. His art's really good. I really like Jim Bishop's art, and sometimes I can't tell with these books because they are translated if like the translation makes this funky. Where like if I was reading it in the language it was supposed to be in, maybe I'd like it more. You know, big what if. I mean, how am I supposed to know that? I'm not going to learn French or where this came from. But this book ultimately disappointed me a little bit. I liked the ending, but the middle, it feels like all the interesting things happen right at the beginning, right at the end, and then we're kind of like just like sitting in it in the middle. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of dragging because there's a lot of pages in this book. This is a thick book, bro, and like all the important stuff happens like here and here. You know what I mean? That's crazy to me. Yeah. I don't think it's like bad, but it's not one that I would necessarily like. I'm not gonna put my stamp of approval on this one, you know. But the art's really good. I think that this world that he's in is really fun. I like all the colors. I like, you know, anything that has to do with the art is good. Jim Bishop is a talented artist, but because I don't rock with the story like that, I would probably give this book a 2 out of 5. Up next, we got The Damned by Cullen Bunn and Brian Hurt. Letters by Bill Crabtree. This is the same team that did The Sixth Gun, and if y'all didn't know, I'm in the bag for it, The Sixth Gun. I rock with that series so much. I think it's so underrated. So as soon as I found out they had another one where they're working together, and then it's about mobsters and demons, I was like, this is great news. What else can I ask for? And I think it delivers. You follow Eddie, I want to say his name is, and he lives in this world where like the mob is run by like actual demons. There's also like human mobsters, but like the majority of the mob is run by demons and demons and devils. And so you kind of meet Eddie, and Eddie's got this curse that makes it so that he doesn't like it shows in the first page. He doesn't stay dead. You know, if somebody, if he's dead, if he has sustained a deadly injury and someone touches him, he comes back to life. And I just love it. I think that this story is on par with The Sixth Gun. I love how it's paced. All the characters are interesting. The rules of this world are very interesting. Where this book really got me was they like turned the tables on me about when Eddie dies, there's like a side story that comes along with that really hooked me in. I don't want to say too much because I love going into books blind. But I mean, look at this, dude. He's talking with the devil mob boss. It's great. It's great. It's got everything you want from like a mobster story. It's got everything you want from like a demon story. It's got I love the main character of Eddie. He's such like a fucking weasel, but in like the best way. So you're kind of rooting for him, but also you're kind of like, this guy's a bastard, dude. This guy sucks. But I mean, you can see all this. Like the art is incredible. He's so good. Brian Hurt's so good. If he's another one of those guys, I've said this a couple times before, but he's one of those guys where if he was drawing every single comic book that ever came out, I think that the world would be a good place. I just think he could do any story, and I really love it. Yeah, I don't want to say too much more. I will say, actually, I don't want to say too much more, but there's more. This story is not finished, so this damned omnibus contains everything that's out right now, but it's for sure not finished. It contains like 3 big story arcs, and then there's like some side stories like sprinkled in there. So know that before you go in. I know some people are not trying to read something that doesn't have an end, and I get that, but this is fire. The Damned, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. I loved it. I really did. Up next, we got Witchfinder by Mike Mignola, John Arcudi, Kim Newman, Mara McHugh, Ben Stenbeck, John Severin, Tyler Cook, Dave Stewart, Mad People. It's a Mignola verse book, so there's like a million people on it because there's a lot of different short stories going on. This one I think has 3 big ones, then a couple like shorter ones sprinkled in. I'm a big Ben Stenbeck guy, so I saw his name on this. I had to get in on it. It follows Sir Edward Grey. He works for the Queen. He works in England, and it's a long time ago, 1800s I want to say, and he is a witch finder. Homeboy goes around and he hunts down witches and magic nasty shit that's going on, basically. So each one's like a different mission. I don't want to get too far into it because I think you should read it for yourself. Gives this intro story of how he became the Witchfinder, which I think is pretty sick. It's a very short story. It's like not even 10 pages. It's pretty short, but it's a banger. I really liked this first one, and then the one where he goes to America, which is kind of crazy to have an English set character, and then the second story he goes to America. Kind of crazy to me, but it's very good. The character of Edward Grey, I really love. I just like Monster Hunter, you know, that like Witcher archetype, where they're the one guy against trying to figure out all this like crazy magic and shit. It's great. I love it. The last story in this book I didn't really love, which sucks because it's the Tyler Crook one and I really like his art. So I wasn't a huge fan of that one. But that did not affect the joy I had overall reading this book. I know there's a second book. I'm definitely going to get it. These Mignola verse books I tend to like more than the main Hellboy books. I haven't read like that much Hellboy, but just so far, that's how I feel. Ben Stenbeck, another guy. If he drew every comic in the world, I think it'd be great. Sounds good to me. I think he can do anything very well. I really like his style. And these books, only because I've read his other work, these books, he's really trying to look like Mignola. Which, you know, I like Mike Mignola. I don't think he's like the greatest artist in the world like everybody else seems to. But I like him, so I respect it. Yeah, Witchfinder's great, dude. Witchfinder's great. If you like that kind of like, what would you call that? Supernatural mystery. You should get this book. Honestly, if you like just monster hunting, if you like adventures, you know, this is a good one, man. I like it. I still like Lobster Johnson better than Witchfinder, but still, would recommend Witchfinder. I would give it 4 out of 5. Now we got the biggest book of the bunch. It's the World of Black Hammer Library Edition. It's got mad writers on it. The whole point is that this one's a bunch of one-shots about characters in the universe. Y'all know I am like the most lackluster Black Hammer fan in the world. Somehow I have all the books, even though I don't know if I love it. I don't know. There's parts of it that I really like, and I do love an anthology just in general. I'd say out of all the ones in here, the one I liked the most was... Oh, the Cullen Bunn one was good. I did really like. It's probably that one with Malachi Ward and Matt Sheehan. That one was mad good. I'm not gonna lie. Kelly Thompson's was also pretty good. It was real like Batman Catwoman vibes. But I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the first 2 or 3. Were not my favorite. I just want to flip through so you get a good look. I think this is the Jeff Johns one. But they all go in like very different directions. A lot of them using characters from... Actually, I think this one actually uses quite a few we haven't seen before. It definitely uses ones we have seen before, but not all of them. There's a couple ones in here I had not heard of. The one that I love so much is the Cullen Bunn one, and it is about Cthulhu, who's my guy from the original series. Love this dude. So I was a little biased. And the Kelly Thompson one is drawn by Leonardo Romero, and it has Skull Digger. And y'all know that I'm a big Skull Digger mark. Love that guy. But honestly, the rest of these, I don't know. Could take it or leave it. And that's kind of the nature of an anthology, right? Is that you're not going to like all of them. It's kind of the point. That's why there's so many. But it's cool. I mean, if you're already like in Black Hammer, there's no reason not to get this. You know, there's good stuff in here. But for me personally, I would probably give this like a low 3 out of 5. I think there's 2 stories in there that I liked, and the rest I could have, you know, they were fine. They were cool. That is the last book of the video, though. Thank you guys for watching. If you got this far, I'm gonna try and bang out the January video. Get it out pretty soon. All right, take it easy, y'all.